Welcome to Creativity, the podcast where art and engineering collide. I'm Jeremy S. Cook, and I'm here with my partner Max Maker, and we've got some excellent guests on here today. Can you maybe tell us a little bit about them, Max?
Yeah. We've got Mike and Ryan here, the two guys from Florida that are brothers. They look at rockets exploding in the sky, and they're working on restoring a very old lathe.
Yeah. Are we? I feel like I kind of forgot about that.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's like 2-year-old information at this point. We've given up on that.
Well, okay. Well, Mike and Ryan, I guess you guys are first brothers. You guys we're working on a lathe at one point, but now you guys are doing some other stuff. So what's going on in your lives now?
Yeah, we always have 3 or 4 projects running at the same time. I think the big one that people know us for at the moment is a CNC conversion. We're working on converting a Precision Matthews 940M to CNC. We've got full Technic servos running Mach 3. That's a whole story in itself. We kind of had a fight with Mach 4, and I think we won. I'm not sure.
I remember 10 years ago, I was wondering, like, should I get Mach 3? But Mach 4 is coming out very soon.
Yeah, yep. And
it's
not
you're
ready.
Struggling with it.
Yeah, it's not.
I'm pretty sure it's the same software as it was 10 years ago, so you're okay.
Yeah. Other than that, what have we got going on? We've been having a lot of little projects. I think the big news that's coming out of our channel at the moment is that we're going to start a whole new venture, a new engineering company, and the YouTube channel is going to kind of catalog what it takes to go from a prototype or a concept of an idea into a fully, medium production sort of sales. I think I can say that better.
To go from something that is nothing but a concept all the way into a manufactured product.
Yeah, there's this huge gap between a prototype that you build one off of and then an actual production. And we're talking even small to medium production stuff, between 100 and 10,000 units, let's say, of something. Mm-hmm. And there's just this really, really big gap between, you build one thing and it's like, oh, this works great, but you don't think of all the little things you had to do to make it work in the meantime that just don't apply to mass manufacturing.
Yeah.
Nice.
Not to mention
now, just to make sure, you guys your channel is Physics Anonymous. So is there going to be another channel, or is it still going to be under that?
It's going to be under Physics Anonymous. The engineering company is called Flux Engineering. So that's going to be sort of our retail persona, but all of the documentation about that process of going through production will still be on Physics Anonymous.
Nice. And that's also good for tax reasons, because my tax attorney told me, like, if your YouTube doesn't make a lot of revenue soon, the tax agency could say, oh, this is just your hobby. Then I would have to pay back all the money that from all my machines. So now I have to incorporate it more, basically. Oh, wow. So it's more of my main business.
Yeah, I don't think we have that problem in America. Our policy is usually to, run businesses at a loss until you become Amazon.
Yeah. Well, you'd be amazed if you look at the tax stuff on like Twitter and Instagram and all these, you think they're billion-dollar companies, they're evaluated at billion-dollar companies, but they report losses every year.
Mm-hmm. Like Tesla.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, actually, Tesla is 4 quarters in for being profitable.
They're saying.
Hey, Max,
I don't believe it one bit.
Heard you got some new red shorts. Is that correct?
Yes, very short shorts.
Oh, man.
Oh, is Max a Tesla short? You're on the wrong end of the thing, if that's the case.
Should we set up
wrong end of the thing?
We're gonna have to set up a GoFundMe for Max. He's
well, I didn't mean to go there exactly. I just saw they came out with those actual literal shorts. I don't know if you guys saw that or not.
Yeah, we did. The red shorts. Yeah.
But
I like the cars. It's just I don't think that the company is supposed to be worth more than Toyota or all of the other American car companies combined, or more than VW and BMW combined.
We'll have to get into a political debate if we go too far into that, Max. I think
I'll tell you.
Oh yeah, let's talk about your president.
Oh, you're breaking. We're going through a tunnel, Max.
Yeah, I think we were going to talk about Alan Bradley or something, licensing too. Is that right? Never mind. There was another podcast we had where we started talking about that, and the person we had on wasn't, understandably, he wasn't wanting to talk about that because he was in sales and stuff.
So let's get back to your business. Are you actually going to manufacture stuff, or are you just going to help people to set up their manufacturing?
Yeah, so the business, the way it's split up at the moment is we do a lot of contract work for people that need prototypes of their ideas. But we're also working on our own products. The first one will be announced in just a week or two. So we're pretty excited about that. It's a simple
Something
thing,
for the
but
workshop? Something for the workshop?
It's something really for makers in general, and sort of the everyday carry group as well.
You're making a knife.
We are making a knife. Now I know that's like the standard thing to do as a YouTube maker these days, but
Yeah, I designed one for Jimmy DeResta. He still hasn't come around to making it.
Oh man. Jeez. Well, that's why we're doing it in-house. We're going to do as much of the manufacturing as possible in-house. It's going to greatly depend on the numbers that we get back from the Kickstarter. But if we get 100, we're going to make them totally in-house. If we get 1,000, there's a split. If something insane happens and we get 50,000 orders, then we're going to have to do something else entirely. But
so are you guys running a Kickstarter right now?
It's going to be launched in, like I said, about 2 weeks,
nice.
2 to 3 weeks. So we're just finishing up the filming.
Comes out.
Okay.
Oh, perfect.
Hey, all right.
Well, can somebody...
after we're late, it should be about 2 weeks after that. So.
Right, right.
Well, as of now, I mean, let's just say we did get this out on time for once. Is there somewhere somebody can go to get get on an email list or something with you guys to make sure they can know about this endeavor?
Yeah, we can set that up. If you go to physicsanonymous.com, we'll create a page there for the early access. Otherwise, if Kickstarter is up and running when this launches, maybe you can put that link in the podcast itself.
If you're watching this, if you're listening to this anyway, you might as well subscribe to all of our channels, where you probably will get some announcements for the upcoming secret project of Physics Anonymous.
Absolutely.
Right, yeah. So definitely do that. Well, that's
And speaking of knives, we should give a shout out to...
Yeah, Gabe Hathaway at Hathaway Knives. We talked to him a couple weeks ago, but we weren't able to. Yeah, some stuff happened. We just weren't able to use the podcast. But he seems like a really nice guy and makes some really high quality knives as well. So
also
if you're
CNC machine knives.
CNC machine knives. So if you're the kind of person that thinks this new knife from Physics Anonymous will be awesome, this knife from Gabe Hathaway at Hathaway Knives his Ceros looks pretty cool too.
They're like jewelry of knives. They cost $300, I think.
The jewelry of
Last time I
knives.
checked.
Well, we won't be in the same market, so there's that. But I think it's the knife market is pretty open ended, and we're trying something that I think is going to be pretty different from what most of the knife manufacturers are doing.
That would be difficult.
Yeah.
Cool. Can you give us a hint? This sounds really interesting.
Sure. Do you know what a number 12 X-Acto blade is?
Number 11.
11, sorry,
Like
number
so,
11.
yeah.
The tiny ones.
The tiny ones.
Yep.
It's going to be based around that.
Okay.
Interesting. Well,
I'm very curious on your take on this.
Definitely have to check out the Kickstarter when that comes out, because obviously we won't.
Yeah.
If you want to know, then that's how you know, because.
I'm on the edge of saying, I'm going to get one, because you might charge $150 for it. In which case, my girlfriend will say, we might as well buy something else for that.
Yeah. Can we announce the retail price? Have we settled on that?
I think we're still having that debate based on some manufacturing stuff, but
it'll be likely less than a third of what you just said.
Then I'm getting one. Then I'm in. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
You should just send them a
if you
picture or something.
pay the shipping for Germany.
Yeah.
Are you going to do like a drop shipping with somebody in Germany or Europe?
No, I will probably be toting those things to the mailbox myself. We ship, I don't know, probably about 3 or 4 things a month out to Germany right now anyway with the photon brackets.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah. Ooh, speaking of merch,
Oh Lord, we're just here to plug things, guys.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
This is going to be our month of completely selling out. So let's just get it all out of the way.
That's perfectly fine.
Yeah, we just signed up with Redbubble. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this. They're one of these companies that you give them some designs and they'll print it on absolutely anything. So if you're familiar with our channel, you're familiar with the Death Metal Unicorn, DMU for short, and we've been having a ton of people ask for Death Metal Unicorn t-shirts. So not only will you be able to get a Death Metal Unicorn t-shirt, you'll be able to get a coffee mug or a shower curtain, or if you're really strange, a bedspread. So go nuts.
Wow, that'd be Max. I know you said you've got a girlfriend now, but I thought you were engaged, so maybe that'd be a good wedding present for you guys if if and when you guys
Oh,
when you guys
Nice.
get
Yeah,
married.
sure.
Nice. I like it. Death Metal Unicorn bedspreads it is. That's perfect.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Be the perfect accent to the honeymoon, I'm sure.
don't think of us.
It's actually quite difficult to plan at the moment with this whole virus going around. We
yeah.
don't know yet when we should get married or if that will even be possible.
Yeah, that is a tough situation. So you
Not
are
as bad as
officially.
those that already planned it.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you don't have to cancel everything, I guess.
No, we got engaged in February, so
Okay. Well, maybe a totally virtual wedding it is.
yeah, on Zoom.
There you go.
Will be cheaper.
There you go.
I actually went to a wedding 3 weeks ago. It was delayed from like a month or two before that. I guess they just decided to go ahead and do it. And I don't know, it was fine. It was, I probably wouldn't, everybody had masks on and stuff. And I was actually one of the groomsmen. So it was, I don't know, you're standing up there with no mask on. And actually it was lightning out that day too. So, I'm from Tampa, and as you guys know, Mike and Ryan, it's lightning's a lot here, I'm kind of a little paranoid about that. So, it's all this thunder is coming, this lightning's coming down, Corona's in the air. It was, anyway.
Very romantic.
Corona's in the
Yes, I
air.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Da, 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 da.
It was, anyway, but nobody got, my wife and I didn't get sick, although my wife did get tested and she came back negative. So that was
That's good.
good.
That's
Very
a positive.
Yeah, I think that pretty much sums up all of Florida's. We've just sort of gone, well, okay, we've had it long enough. We're just going to keep doing these things anyway. And it's working out great for us.
Yeah, totally fine.
No, this
Nothing
is,
to see here.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see
You
how
know,
this goes.
in March I started to have like breathing difficulties for
Yeah.
no apparent reason, and feeling like I need to take really deep breaths sometimes, even though I'm not really exerting myself. And I also measured like the SpO2, which is like the oxygen in your blood. You can measure it with a little like $10 device, and it was always fine, like at 96% or 98%, and heart rate wasn't up. Nothing was up basically. So I went to some doctors and everybody said, well, you're fine. Went to the lung doctor and the heart doctor and general practitioner. And yesterday I saw somebody who was talking about like late symptoms from COVID, from COVID where you didn't have any symptoms at the time. And she described basically the same thing. So either I'm going a little bit crazy and I'm thinking that I might have been ill even though I wasn't, or I might have had it and I didn't even notice it back then without any symptoms at all. So
Yeah, I think I'm in the same boat as you there. I had same thing was checking SpO2. I'm a runner and triathlete. My O2 is pretty much universally 97 and up, almost no matter what I do. And
Yeah.
it suddenly went to feeling weird, and it dropped down to like 89, 90.
Whoa.
And then over the course of a
that's
week or
not
so,
good. I
just
would have
everything
called an
got
ambulance
better,
at that
so.
point.
Didn't feel bad.
Yeah.
It just didn't feel great, and had no recovery. Didn't want to go running, anything like that. Obviously,
We'd have to sell one of our tools if we called an ambulance in America.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, true.
the lathe is more important than I am by a good margin.
You know,
So-
I keep thinking more and more that for me it might have just been a psychological thing, because I talked to the lung doctor about it, and he said like, well, maybe it's just in your head, something like that. And I said, like, no, it's not in my head. And he said, well, if it's unconscious, you wouldn't know, would you? So
Yeah,
He
that
has a
really
point.
stuck in my mind.
He has a point.
psychosomatic
when
is a thing. It's like the reverse of placebo, but it is as effective.
It's like when people say, "Oh,
that's
are you
what he said,
crazy?"
basically.
How would you know? Why would you be qualified to answer that question?
Yeah.
It's very true. It's very true.
But
Yeah.
apart from that, everything is fine. At least here in Germany, it's almost back to normal, I would say.
That's good.
Yeah, I think most of the world is. There's one exception, I think.
Well, you had some bad luck over there. That's all it is.
Yeah. Wasn't
speaking of that,
completely mismanaged or anything. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
just some bad luck.
Besides any viruses in there, I guess you guys have seen there's a hurricane on the way too. So that'll be that'll be.
I assume
interesting.
it's filled with killer bees or sharks or something.
I have to admit, whenever you have a hurricane in the US, it's super exciting for me. It's like another Formula One weekend.
Oh yeah, no,
Because your news are just so much more interesting than what we have over here.
yeah. Don't feel bad. I mean, I think growing up in Florida, it was always like, oh, a hurricane's coming. I'll get out of school for a couple days, play in the mud,
Yep.
and it was always kind of an event. Talking to one of my cousins, he's like, yeah, you've got to play street football or street hockey or whatever, because there are no cars. It's like it's like Mad Max for a couple days.
That's
Although
accurate.
it's been like that for the last few months. So
Right. It'll
not
be
gonna
like
be as much.
that, but with no power and internet. So
Oh.
yeah,
Oh,
people
not
will
good.
go crazy.
And no hurricane party either. That takes
That's
some of the fun out.
yeah.
Yeah.
To figure that out.
You should download some games that you can play over Wi-Fi from one phone to the other.
Good idea.
It's a good idea. Hey, I mean, I guess you could come over here, Max, for the hurricane, and you could experience it like a true Florida man, if you felt like that's.
Yeah. No, I come for the holiday to eat some steak and French fries with Parmesan on top. That would be nice.
Sounds good to me.
So, what have you guys been working on recently?
Let's see. Well, I've been mostly on the business stuff. It's like IoT based devices. So lots and lots of circuit boards, lots of soldering. I don't know, trying to pull waterlogged parts out of.
Yeah,
places,
two or
stuff
three
like
of the
that.
devices we're working on right now are outdoor products, and in Florida, it's a very difficult thing to do.
Electric surfboards.
Yeah, no, you've got a lot of the same problems there with basically high pressure water and all that. If you had about 150-degree swing in temperature, I think you'd be in the same category.
Yep. Speaking of electric surfboards, did you ever finish yours, Max?
Well, not yet. What's left to do is attach the motor to the fin, to the mast and the foil. Do some waterproofing, do some final touches, and I can go on the water. It's just that work has been crazy, and I'm in the caravanning business, and caravanning has been taking up so much in the past years already, and now this year nobody can go abroad, so caravanning is even more crazy. So, which is nice. I'm making money, but the other thing is I can't make much stuff on YouTube, which I would rather do. But yeah, I'm thinking about getting my first employee. So.
Fantastic.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Yeah, that's a big step. I'm a bit worried about all this health and safety stuff because obviously I try to be as healthy and safe as I can in the workshop, but
Yeah.
the government might see it differently. So, and working through this stuff is really difficult. But yeah, So the hydrofoil is coming next when I've got time.
Awesome. Yeah, that's been on my to-do list for a long time too, and I just haven't jumped in yet. I just want one, it's going to be a fun project and I'm excited to build it, but really it's one of those projects that I just want to have one. They look like a ton of fun.
I'm talking to a lot of people that are building one right now, and most of them have been doing it for 2 or 3 years, and they're all saying like, oh boy, I just want to finish this project. It's so much stuff, the batteries, the waterproofing, the board itself, the propellers.
I guess it's no wonder they cost thousands of dollars.
Oh yeah,
retail.
Definitely. And you also have to consider like I might break this thing when I sell it to a customer and it might be a total loss. So I have to return that money to him if it breaks because I didn't make it waterproof enough, stuff like that. So the risk involved is quite big.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Overheating, water, shortcuts, so short circuits.
Yep. But other than that, what are we working on? One of the projects I think I'm gonna talk about on Physics Anonymous is we're building a carbon bike. I'm not building it from scratch. It's more of an assembly
boy.
task. But I'm going for a fixed gear, no brakes, bare minimum track bike. So I want something sub 13 pounds.
Oh,
With
nice.
So you're not
with a belt
making the
drive.
frame. You're buying the components.
Yeah, I'm buying the components, but it's going to take some modification. I'm doing a belt drive, so it's not a split belt. So I have to split the frame, which in a carbon frame is kind of a big no-no. So I'm sure I'll get lots of internet hate for that, but I'm excited to try it, risk my own life for it.
Yeah, it's not like you can anneal the frame as you're supposed to do with aluminum bikes.
Right.
We've been doing bike stuff as well. Jeremy has been repairing his bike for his wife, right?
Yeah. So it's kind of a funny story. When we moved to Florida, actually, about the time my son was born, I broke my my mountain bike. Like, it's a full suspension, lots of gears. Basically a full mountain bike, but it was a little small for me. Well, 5 years later, 6 years later, I hadn't fixed it, and so my wife and I go to the bike store and would like a bike. Like, well, we don't really have a lot of those right now. Not in the $300 just go around town range. So what I did, I fixed up this bike that had been just in my garage for years, and now my wife gets to ride it, which I'm a little jealous, to be honest. But it's like it's just like a little bit too big for her, but the way I've got it set up now, it's a bit too small for me. So, but looks good. So, yeah, pretty happy with that. I guess you're working on a bike too, right, Max?
Yeah, my derailleur is like shifting down when I'm applying a lot of torque in low speed. It's shifting down to the lower gear on its own. So
Oh, I know that
this stuff is
problem.
complicated. I don't really enjoy working on my bike. I just think they're too complicated. They're not like a MacBook or something. They're not sleek. Everything is outside and.
Tell you, go to a belt drive. It's as simple as can be.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, I should have a belt drive. That would be so much better. But it costs like, I think, $1,000 extra for the bike I have.
Wow.
I mean, I enjoy working on the bike as far as, I enjoyed replacing the derailleur or replacing the rear cassette, replacing the wheels, whatever. I enjoy all that. It's just like the tuning, like the gear shifting. It's always a little bit finicky to get it just right. I mean, you can get it good enough so that it mostly shifts, but beyond that, I guess I just don't have the patience for it or something.
I quickly see myself signing up for fixing everybody's bike here, but I actually really enjoy working on bike
nice.
mechanics and stuff. I just finished my carbon bike.
So Ryan, how many bikes do you have?
So now Mike needs one as well.
Yeah, I actually. Well, the funny thing is, I ordered mine the same time he ordered his, but
Yeah.
a lot more of my components came from China, and the shipping right now is horrendous from China.
Yeah. Now my frame and wheels did come from China too, and they're, I guess, like the upper end of the China stuff. Very happy with them. I think they get a lot of bad reputation for that stuff, but it's the usual China. You get what you pay for.
Oh, some stuff is amazing that comes from China.
100%.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
Ryan,
mean,
I'm looking at his frame right now. It's in front of me, and it's really fantastic. It is really, really good.
How much are you spending on it altogether? What's your budget?
I think mine total was around $1,800.
And mine was about half that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Lot
I mean,
less
that's
components.
reasonable
Good,
for a decent road
Yeah.
bike, though.
Yeah.
It is, and especially, I kind of went and picked and chose every individual component, and so I've got carbon cranks and carbon wheels and carbon frame and carbon stem and carbon. I think
Because the weight
front-
is really critical in Florida, where you have to climb so many mountains.
no, but I do have to put it on top of my car, so it's nice to.
We want to do as little exercise for our
Yeah.
exercise as possible. I think.
Yeah.
There
I've
was this-
drilled holes in all my weights and stuff too.
Oh, good. Yeah.
It's a good idea. Yeah, I was trying to, you're trying to bench 235, and it's pretty hard, but then you put a few holes in it, a few half-inch holes, and
Yeah.
all of a sudden,
Yeah.
It's a lot easier.
get a lot
They still
stronger.
say 45 on the outside. I made sure to leave those numbers,
Right.
so it's good.
Yeah.
Still counts.
But yeah, I'm
There
up to
was this guy in
300
England a few years ago, and he wanted to break the world record in the most miles cycled in a year. And his regime was going from the northern tip of England to the southern tip every 4 days for a whole
Oh
year
my gosh.
straight. Well, he wouldn't actually do that route. It's just the distance that he would have
Yeah.
done. He went around in circles around his area.
Oh,
And he
okay.
had a steel bike because he said, I need reliability. I don't care about the weight.
Yeah, I get that. I rode all of my triathlons on a 40-year-old steel frame Fuji, and I still own and love that bike, but it's definitely not what I'd call competitive or anything.
Yeah, I mean, the lightweight is fun and it's a cool thing, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's. I mean, yeah, if you're really into competition, it's a competitive advantage. But if you're looking to get exercise, it's really just bragging rights. There's no practical reason to do it.
I would love a caravan bike. I mean,
Have you guys watched Ed Pratt on YouTube, the unicyclist?
oh yeah, he's a bit special.
I mean, you have to be a little bit special to decide to unicycle around the world by yourself, right?
I'm gonna be honest, it's the glasses. The glasses. Get some proper glasses and look like.
So judgmental. I mean, is he
Yeah,
really
sorry,
concerned
but-
about his appearance? He's riding a unicycle.
It's just the glasses. Without the glasses, everything would be fine.
Well, I thought you wore glasses, Max. Now, let's judge.
Well, it's those glasses.
Okay.
He's wearing a very special type.
Yeah, you got this guy that has achieved something that no one else in the world has achieved. And Max is like, yeah, but the glasses, though.
Put the
Doesn't
glasses.
Well,
Max
we'll
is
make sure
very
to hire Max as a style consultant for our next
I'm
season.
sorry.
or
I
so.
know it's unjust. And he went. I recommend his videos to my friends, though. He went around the world on a unicycle. So literally, he went from England to Southeast Asia, then across Australia, which is a huge distance. Then through Australia, then across all of the USA, which was the easy part, I think, and back to England. So it took him like 4 years.
I'd be really impressed if he also swam across this. Was it the Bering? What's the body of water between Alaska and the U.S.? If he actually in Russia,
It's
if
an
he actually does-
uninterrupted, yeah.
The
Yeah,
Bering Sea. Yeah, he hopped ships from National Geographic ships.
Oh, did he really?
That was a joke because National Geographic seems to be in that area a lot.
Yeah, I guess so.
With the whole crab fishing stuff.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
sorry,
right.
didn't work.
Oh, is that what they're doing now?
Yeah, National Geographic. I hear they're getting into whaling too.
How
after they
how
finish.
far they've fallen, man.
So I went. My wife and we went to southern Canada last year on the west coast, and man,
New
we
York.
got to see whales there, and the people taking us out are like, well, they said at one time there were so many whales you could walk across. That was like the native, I guess native Canadian or whatever you call the people's. You wouldn't call them Native Americans, I guess Native North Americans, but anyway, that's what they said. And they're like, well, they whaled them and now they're coming back. And I wanted to ask, I'm like, well, if there's enough whales, can we start, do you want to start hunting them again? But yeah,
That's
obviously
much worse than what I said about these glasses.
well, I just thought, like deer, eventually you've got to hunt them if they get to be too much. So but these people didn't want to hear that. So I didn't say it.
I don't think anyone wants to hear that, Jeremy.
Well, I was just curious, not that I,
All those Canadian people, they were taking pictures of the whales and saying, oh, this is amazing. And then the American asked that question.
At what point can we start killing them? Is that
Yeah.
soon? Is that
How much money do you think I would make with this on the black market?
I
Way to
did not,
represent our
Tastes
country.
like, yeah.
I did not ask that
Can you make
question,
shark
but
fin soup out of whales?
I didn't ask the question, but it crossed my mind. I mean, Anyway,
Yeah, I mean, once there's literally enough whales to walk across, then yeah, maybe something needs to be done. But before then, I think we're okay.
You'll be the first one we call.
Yep.
yeah, no, I'm not killing. I mean, I guess I don't feel like I'm necessarily brave
Not
enough to do
personally,
that.
but you wouldn't mind investing in a stock that would profit from killing whales.
Yeah,
It's like buying a short position on Greenpeace
or Tesla, I guess.
or Tesla.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, we're going back there, are we?
Well, there are plenty of other electric car makers out there, like VW,
That's true.
and they actually make a profit. Not right now.
Not on
Corona.
their electric cars. They don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, but they're not selling much yet. So
Yeah.
well, that's
Yeah,
right.
actually,
I think it's the technology of the future. Whether you see it from an environmental perspective or if you just see it from a reliability perspective. I mean, it's hard to think. Okay, a combustion engine, you've got all these parts, but an electric engine.
Oh,
you
it's
just-
100% the way to go. And any car company that thinks that electric cars are going to max out at 10 or 20% market share are crazy. I mean, it will be 98 to 100%. In 30
I always
years.
say it's the same technology that I have in my cordless drill. It's not that complicated. It's really simple. You can make it cheaply.
Yeah, I think ultimately. Now, Mike and I are polar opposites on what we want out of a car, I think, other than fast. But, I'm a great appreciator of everything being mechanical and needing a lot of work on it and, loud and obnoxious and all that sort of stuff. And at the same time, I would recommend an electric car to most people because right now they're getting to be faster, more reliable, less trouble, quieter. I mean, I'm not really sure unless you're a dinosaur like me. I don't know.
And I have an
what's
appreciation for the noise. Full disclosure, I just ordered a Performance Model 3. I'll give everyone on the podcast a ride except Max because he hates Tesla.
I give you one on my 4 Series BMW.
Oh,
Nice.
wait, which
I'll
one do
have
you
to-
have, Max?
The Grand Coupe 430. I think it's D or I. Well, it's not a diesel. No, it's not a diesel. It's the fuel,
C-
the petrol.
Yeah,
one.
the I or CI one, I guess. Very nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got
Yesterday I busted my tail light, and I just looked it up. It's €1,000 just for the light.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
you bought
Yeah.
a BMW. That's
Why
nice.
did you get such a slow car, Max?
Uh-oh.
I don't know.
I'm just looking at the 0 to 60 times, and I'm
Oh, it's
woefully
like 6
disappointed.
seconds. Oh yeah, you've got an electric car. It's like 6 seconds or something like that.
No, it's 4.2. It's quite. I'm sure it's quite
pretty-
good.
It's pretty good.
It's still. I mean, it would get destroyed by a Performance Model 3, but
I've got a wonderfully ancient 2001 M3
oh,
with
nice.
pretty much every
An
problem
M3.
that a German could come up with.
But an M3 is really expensive. That's like twice the price of my car. Or
Yeah,
back
they're
then it
not
was.
they're not bad if you buy an old one though. Thankfully for all BMWs, they depreciate immediately, and then if you're a guy that likes to work on cars, it works out for you.
It's a lease, so I don't have to care about that.
Hey,
And
all right, yeah. There you
With
go.
taxes, it's okay. It's manageable because it's a business expense.
yeah.
Oh,
I'm bringing my parcels to the post office with this car.
It was the only way
I
you could do
literally
it
do.
too, probably.
I literally do, yeah. And it fits like 3 of my parcels because they're huge. And it's a difficult decision because I don't want to get like a VW bus just to drive to the post
Right.
office.
Well, you get a lot more room when you don't have to have a big gas engine in the car.
Yeah, that's true. I really like the electric Smart and the i3. They're both great cars.
Now, mine is the shop truck, the M3. We drag it doesn't matter if we're going to pick up sheet metal or a toolbox or something like that. It goes in
Right.
or on the roof racks.
Yeah, Ryan's made like custom roof racks to
Yeah.
carry stuff. Like we'll go to the steel shop and get 400 pounds of steel, and it just goes on the roof of the car.
wow, that's impressive.
Yep.
They giggled for months, but I think they're finally over it.
Yeah, they're used to it.
Well, that's nice. Yeah, I mean, I guess to what you guys were saying, my one of my neighbors has a Tesla, and he took me for a ride in it, and he presses the gas, gets up to 70 in a second or two, and yeah, the thing is, there's just something missing when you don't hear the all the tiny explosions going off over and over.
Yeah, I like to drive explosions,
Yeah.
but I get why a lot of people would veer away from that.
Well, one thing that I think is that I settled on that I really like about it is, but I've had really loud cars in the past. I own two 3000 GTs with ridiculous exhausts on them, and they were moderately quick. But to use that power, you had to let everyone around you know that you were doing it, which some people, that's what they're after.
It's a little aggressive.
But it also sort of causes you not to use it very often, right? Like you got to look around, you got to know the situation you're in. Are you going to get in trouble? Are you going to attract the wrong kind of attention? In an electric car, you just go. You use it whenever you want, and nobody notices.
I have to say, I love the experience you have with a Tesla, but I think you will have the exactly same experience if you drive an electric Mercedes or a Porsche or a VW or any other car manufacturer. It's just the electric drive that's amazing.
Yeah.
And
I think every
from
manufacturer
a
needs
stock
to.
perspective, it's just not a good. It's not
Mike,
a buy.
how did you pay for your Tesla?
Yeah, it's funny. Instead of shorting the stock, I bought some and then I sold it. Tesla paid for its own car, man.
That's
Really interesting. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
well done.
It's like a car that makes itself from your point of view.
If
out
Tesla
nicely.
goes bankrupt in 2 years' time, I can buy a Ferrari instead.
I'll
There you go.
take a bet. You want to take a bet, Max?
Yeah, I already did.
Oh man.
Well, yeah.
And also, I think all of those electric cars you mentioned, we don't actually get in America.
Yeah, that's
Some
true.
of them we do, yeah. But I think what is it?
The ID4 will
EQC
come,
or
I think.
Yeah, the ID4.
No, ID4 is not coming to America. They,
Oh, okay.
Is
they
it not?
announced they announced it's not going to come. At least not initially.
Now I have a buddy that he got the i3.
Yeah,
The
the i3 is here and the i8.
yeah. Well, he originally bought a Model S, and then he got an i3, and then his wife wouldn't let him have the Model S anymore because she always drove it. And then he eventually sold the i3 and bought a Model 3. So I don't know.
you go.
Something about it.
There you go.
I didn't dislike the 3. It was not a pretty car by any means or anything like that, but it did seem like it drove pretty well.
Yeah, they're nice cars. But,
Speaking of fast and expensive toys, I received an email of your new Kickstarter project, and it looks amazing.
Yes. Oh, cool.
good.
Absolutely amazing.
That's
I saw that too.
great
It
to
looks
hear.
Really
pretty.
spot on.
I'm hoping that's the impression a lot of people get. And
Yeah, shut up and take my money.
It really does
Yeah.
does look like nothing you've ever seen before, and actually it has a little bit of a Transformers vibe too. So I think that's a bonus.
Can I
Nice.
PayPal you the money right now?
We'll put you on the short list. Don't worry,
right.
Max.
Oh, okay. Oh, it looks great. Yeah.
yeah, we're
Very
happy.
NASA-esque.
I think we went through about 25 different prototypes that looked anything from not even kind of like this up to probably the last 5 are all in the same family.
Yeah. Well, actually, I've got a box of prototype parts, and that's one of the things we're going to talk about on the videos. And you see this, the first 10 are just crazy different, trying to experiment on ideas, and then we sort of settled on the shape and the design, and then there's like 40 after that are just tiny changes until you get everything right. Because it's just,
and that's the point of why we want to go into that, because that is a journey that I think is so underestimated. People, especially like you look on Kickstarter, people will show off this prototype and they think they're close, and it's like you've probably got a year or two of development ahead of that, depending on your pace and your availability and knowledge and all that, before you have a product. And it's wildly underestimated. It's underestimated with all of our customers when we do contract work, that, they think they're like, hey, we got a working thing, let's go to production. And it's like, whoa. Like, man, you've got
a fellow product design engineer told me whenever he sends out screenshots or renderings, he sends them in the lowest resolution possible, because otherwise the customers say, oh, you're already there, aren't you?
it's done. Yeah, for sure. Well, that's actually a problem we've run into a few times with the prototypes that we develop, because we've gotten really good at making what looks like finalized products. We have good access to CNC machines. We know how to design to be to be CNC'd anyway, even if it's not high volume stuff. So the products that we give them, look totally finished. I mean, like some of them literally look like MacBooks. They're machined aluminum, anodized, just beautiful pieces of equipment. But they're like, you want us to make 1,000? I'm sorry, we can't. No way.
Yeah. You get $150 housing on a thing that needs to cost $12.
Right.
Yeah.
So we may have to start making crappier things so that our customers understand that it's not done. Yeah.
I've been trying
my
to do
dad
my
was
part
a-
with software, but
It's a good goal for the future. We make worse products.
That's right.
Well, Max, you want to talk about our progress? What we've been working on?
Oh, well, I've been doing a lot of, manufacturing of these drawer slides for the RVs. So, I'm getting the steel parts and I assemble them. That's all I do. I assemble. And I made a big vibratory tumbler for the parts because the raw aluminum, if you get fingerprints on them, after a few months, the fingerprints will have, really, I don't know, oxidized, or the rest of it will have oxidized. So you can't just wipe them off. You need to sand it off. And the manufacturer that I have, he sends me the parts not deburred. And even if you would deburr them, my fingerprints would ruin the parts again because, they kind of etch in. So I built a huge vibratory tumbler. It's as big as a bathtub, basically, and it actually works. So I'm quite happy with that.
oh wow.
That's awesome. Is
Yeah.
it pretty noisy?
It's super noisy, but it's more tolerable than other things. Like I can't use a router or a table saw without headphones, but the tumbler I can.
It's not too
But
bad.
I put the headphones on just for safety. But
You
I
gonna
learned
have
welding during that. Yeah.
I was gonna say, you're gonna have a video on that. I'd look
Oh yeah,
forward to
yeah. It will
seeing
be a
about that. That's
video
excellent.
and some really really bad welding.
It's where we all
I
start.
welded 80-20 profiles because I have so many of them.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And people kept telling me, like, why do you weld that stuff? You use these connectors. But I wanted to practice and I don't want it to vibrate itself loose, which I think it would have by now.
Yeah, that's probably true. We Flux has a vibratory tumbler. It's not a super large one, but we
'Cause
bought it.
You can buy it at Harbor Freight.
Yeah, and it's and
There's
it
no
works.
shop in Germany where you can buy a tumbler.
Oh wow, jeez.
Well, the one
Well,
we use
not-
actually
not-
isn't
not
a
a
Harbor Freight
home-
one. It's a bit
home
bigger
used
than
one.
that, but
Right.
yeah.
It's I guess the one we have is a little bigger than that, but it will make a huge difference to the quality of your products. It's the feel of it, even not talking about the looks, but it changes the feel of the aluminum drastically, and that's nice. Are you going to do any
It gets rid of the
anodizing?
burrs and no, nothing of that because it's not necessary and it's not a knife. It's purely functional what I'm selling. So all I want to do is get rid of the burr and make it rough and not smooth anymore. So you don't see any more fingerprints or scratches, and it works really well.
Awesome.
I'm happy with that. And it's so simple. Like I before I had to sand everything with Scotch Brite and some sandpaper, and now I can just put all the parts in there, and they all get tumbled at once. So
Very good.
that's
Looking
nice.
forward to seeing the video.
there's very little information online about how to build a tumbler. It was all basically guesswork.
Yeah, I see a lot of like the rotating barrel tumblers, but vibratory is a whole different game.
Yeah, I built a rotating one, but it was too small for the big parts, of course. And I wanted to get a barrel, but the barrels here in Europe, they are 110 centimeters long, and my parts are 120 long. So
Oh no.
Man.
So what about you guys? Have you guys been working? I mean, I guess you've been talking about it a little bit, but anything in particular you guys, have been working on these days?
Let's see. I'm actually rebuilding the cloud chamber right now. We'll have probably a short video on that.
Nice.
I think you were with us at Maker Faire last year, and
Yeah.
we let the smoke out of a couple of power supplies and things like that.
I guess I won't be seeing you at Making Fair this year, most likely.
Yes.
Yeah, who knows?
Doesn't look likely right now.
We've talked to Ian a little bit and everything in between, and he's somewhere between hopeful and depressed about it. So, I think it's kind of how we're all going with it. We'll just have to see. It usually be November-ish if they do it.
Yep.
So there's time. And that kind of goes for pretty much everything that is far out there. I do a volunteer children's organization that had to cancel last year, or at least, remap how we do everything. And, we're starting up this year's season kind of looking around and going like, well, what do we plan for?
Yep. I'm
Yeah,
curious to
it's
see
not
what.
lost time if you use it differently. Do some other
Right.
stuff that normally
Yeah.
you wouldn't do.
Yep,
Yeah,
I
for
agree.
sure.
I agree. And there's a lot of stuff that people are doing virtually. Like I could see some sort of virtual maker fair, where people make videos instead of booths. It could be interesting.
Yeah, find some way to
Yeah.
do some interaction with people too would be the
Yep.
big thing. But
Yep.
yeah, so we finally got rid of the dual power supply in the cloud chamber and are going to a single large one, and a more efficient way to cool the top layer of Peltiers and stuff. So it now gets down to about minus 45°C pretty
nice.
immediately.
Wow, that's a
And,
lot.
Yep.
added a few new atomic sources, and
Yeah, Ryan's got a whole collection of radioactive material in the house. It's great.
I'm on every FBI list and then some by now. So
Nice. Well, hopefully they'll be
Florida
listening. We'll get a
man.
few more subscriber, a few more people listening, I guess.
There you go. There you go. Yeah. Other than that, we're
Oh, they won't see you because YouTube will be blocked on government computers.
that's
that's
right.
true. Yeah. That's
Ours in particular, I think.
Oh, yep. We've been working on a lot of manufacturing processes. So we got an injection mold machine, one of these sort of like desktop injection molders.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
How much is that, roughly?
It was around 10 grand. And there were a couple of different competitors out there. As a business expense, that makes a lot of sense. And because if you go to China and get a mold made, that mold may cost you 10 to 15 grand by itself.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
It puts all the onus on you to complete that. But the advantage is that, especially if you have your own CNC work, you can try it out 10 or 20 times and adjust your design 10 or 20 times, which I think is crucial to developing a project.
Yep.
Instead of, getting it back and going, man, I wish this was just 2% thicker or something.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Starting
I'm sure a
over.
lot of people like hear that $10,000 price tag and go, who on earth would buy one of those, right? And it's definitely not like a desktop printer. You don't buy it to experiment with and make trinkets out of. You have to have a business plan that makes sense, that you're actually going to get that investment back. Because if it's sitting there doing nothing, that tool's not for you.
Yeah.
But it is cool that they make them in that size and price point. I mean, before, I think there's really 2 or 3 on the market of that scale, and everything else above that is at least 10 times the price. So there's a market for it. It's slowly coming down. It's not particularly easy to use. There's a whole science, and we're trying to learn and catch up. And the company has been pretty supportive for us, and they'll walk us through some stuff we're doing wrong. And I think a big barrier to entry on doing prototype stuff is going to be printing the molds with a resin printer. We're experimenting with that right now, or at least inserts for molds, because the CNC process, of course, is just slower and a lot less iterative.
Mm-hmm. And the finish has to be amazing.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's neat. Sounds like a lot has changed since last time we had you guys on. It's
Yeah, a
I
lot of
guess,
progress.
yeah, very cool. So yeah, I guess as for me, I'm always working on different projects. One thing that I mentioned like months ago, I think last year actually, was that I was thinking about making a multi-zone time clock. Like you'll see up at a bank or something, you'll see a bunch of clocks arranged that have different times for like New York or San Francisco or
Tokyo, because that's really important.
Sure, Tokyo, wherever is important to you. And I thought about making it with 4 steppers, but then I thought, well, that's going to be really complicated programming wise, and I got it, almost set up like hardware, but then just took it apart and decided to make it just geared. So basically, you've got one gear that has, say, the East Coast, and then one gear that has, the other time zone that you're interested in. So
West
in my
Coast.
case, West Coast, yeah, that's what I was thinking. Originally I was thinking I could do like Germany, England, East Coast, and maybe the Pacific. But as it turns out, I'm not going to need Germany quite as much as I did before. Can you tell us a little bit about that, Max?
Well, yeah. Oh man, that's I didn't expect that right now. Well, basically, 2 years ago or so, or maybe 3 years ago, we started this podcast because it was a time to start podcast basically, and I thought it would be a great a companion for the YouTube videos. But recently, I found out that I don't do as much YouTube anymore, and I spend most of my time on the podcast basically. So yeah, I figured it doesn't really work out for me. So I want to go back to doing more YouTube stuff and less podcasts. So I decided to abandon Jeremy.
Oh no.
Sorry
Yeah,
to say
yeah.
it that way.
So, but no, that's fine. I mean, it's something that, obviously takes up time, and I'm going to have to make a decision whether continue this on or how to, I guess, continue or shut it down or whatever. And yeah, so we want to make sure to make that announcement. I guess kind of on that subject, we've got a few Patreons that support us here, and want to make sure to give you guys a shout out right now. Brian Moses, Pat Regan, Positive Waves, Old School DIY, which is at GFC62, and of course Stephen Booker, who was our first Patreon. Thanks,
Yeah,
thanks
thank
so
you very
much,
much.
and it's been awesome that you guys have supported us. Obviously we don't want to drag you guys along either, but you guys, hopefully we'll see you on YouTube and maybe this podcast. Bro, I really don't know. I'll have to figure things out. I've got a few things, I'll have to figure out. So, but I think most likely this may be our last one for a while. So anyway, Max specifically wanted to have you guys on, Mike and Ryan, which I thought was pretty cool. So
Well,
thanks for
we're honored. Thank you.
yeah.
Because you were one of our first, and
Yeah.
not to mention the very first. This guy, when we interviewed him, he had like 1,000 subscribers. Now he's got 1 million.
Yeah. So people get the creativity. People won't get the creativity podcast bump anymore, and
Yeah. Like, look at Laura Kampf, where she is now, or Jimmy the Wrestler.
no, it's true though. Like,
Look, mom, no computer, no talent. We brought him up there on the main stage.
it is pretty amazing. I mean, I guess I would say we've had little to nothing to do with their success, but it is pretty cool that we've been able to get some people on that, I guess, one of us could see, okay, this guy's or this girl is pretty cool. They may be popular, and just, to me, it's always about talking to somebody interesting anyway, no matter how popular they are. I think.
Yeah, we always
think
say
that's
we
always
can't talk to our partners about these kind of topics, so it's good to have a podcast for that.
Yeah, well, Jeremy,
Well,
I hope you
ultimately,
go
I
on
think-
with it. Like I
Yeah,
said,
I hope so too.
I think a lot of good stories get told out of this. I've been obviously listening since you guys first brought it up to us, and I hadn't heard of you at that point. But
Thanks so
lots
much.
of interesting content and interesting people.
And-
So
And Jeremy is the real journalist out here, so
Well, it's a funny thing, like you said, like you alluded to, I do write for, Hackster.io and, a bunch of different places. And, but actually doing a podcast, Max kind of brought it up to me after I'd actually featured him somewhere. And I was like, I don't know if I could do that. It was kind of a, probably for Max too, but kind of a big step, taking things out of my shell, and not shell, but it was a big challenge to see if I could actually do this. And, it was awesome to have a partner that I could do it with. And now we'll see if I can, I guess if I'll see if I can take that next step, or if I want to maybe take a break for a while. I guess we'll see.
yeah, or maybe
Either
there's
way,
someone out there
we're
in
not
listener
lost.
land that wants to jump in on it. And
Yeah,
there you
that's
go, get
true.
involved.
So yeah, if you guys have any ideas or want to, I guess, if you guys have any comments, or if there's someone in listener land that wants to, whatever. Yeah, again, I don't know, but email me at hi@jeremyscook.com, or as Max encouraged me to, I think,
Complaints.
info@jeremyscook.com.
and complaints at jeremyscook.com.
I think that's also registered. Also, you can find me on Twitter at @JeremySCook. So it's pretty much my social presence these days. And of course, YouTube, Jeremy Cook there as well. So, and Max, I guess like you were saying, we're going to see probably, hopefully, some more of you on YouTube these days. Where can they
More on YouTube.
Where can they
Yeah, I've
find
got
you?
four videos in the can. I just need to edit them, but it's just work has been crazy, and it's always a decision. Make a bit of money at work, or spend your free time on YouTube and get a few bucks out of it. So, as much as I love YouTube, it's very competitive.
Yeah, that's true.
With proper work.
If I can relate, for sure.
I guess that's
You wonder sometimes, it's like, well, I could do YouTube, I could create content, or since I've got like monetary work to do, because same with you, I work for myself. In fact, it's interesting how many people work for themselves that we've had on, but anyway, it's like, well, I guess I could do some more work for myself, and then I could just spend it on advertising or something for YouTube if I was really,
Yeah. There you go. We're trying to combine the two right now, and hopefully that's going to be, like the regular pays the bills work is going to be content for the YouTube channel. It's still twice as much work. Every time you have to film what you're doing, it slows the whole process down, but it's not a totally different thing. So,
I feel like it's one philosophy or the other. Either, what you create on YouTube is a different kind of energy than what you're doing for your day job, or you try to combine the two in some way if you can, not too many NDAs or something. But definitely, if you're doing the same thing twice and not combining your day job into it, it could get pretty overwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, it's always a choice. I mean, all of us have that choice. It's working for yourself. I feel like when I was working for a different company making sprinklers in my case, I could do that during the day, and then I could write or whatever else at night because it was something different. But now, you work for yourself, and I enjoy, I very much enjoy it. I mean, in some ways, I guess I do almost exactly what I would want to do. I mean, not really. Really, I'd want to have a lot more money and maybe just live in Hawaii and surf every day. But realistically,
oh yeah, because Florida is a bad place to live in.
Yeah, I know. We're so spoiled.
I spend money to spend time there.
Yeah. Well, the appeal of Florida is to be able to go outside, and we can't really do that right now. So
yeah, the appeal of Florida is the winter, not so much the summer.
That's true. That's true.
But you can go to the beach, right?
Yeah, we can. Well,
yeah.
It depends on the beach, I would say. Some of them, people go out there and kind of crowd it up right now, and that's not a particularly safe thing. But I would say if you're a surfer, you can probably find an empty part of the wave to go play on.
That's true.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, Jeremy, you're over in the Gulf, though. What do you do in the Gulf if you surf?
So there's like some very limited places you can surf, and actually, with a hurricane on the way, you can actually get some decent waves in. But
nice.
I feel like maybe I'm a little bit too old to be putting myself out that way, since I've got people that depend on me and stuff.
Yeah, maybe just not the peak. You go early and you go late, and you'll probably get something. Just don't go during the hurricane. You'll be okay.
Yeah. No, I haven't been surfing in a while. I've still got my board in the garage, but like, although it's a new day. I got my mountain bike fixed from 6 years ago, so maybe it's time to break that out.
Yeah,
there you go. There you go.
I'm going on a bike ride tomorrow because I think I got an e-bike, and suddenly going on a bicycle tour is really nice.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Really recommend it.
I ride quite a bit. There's a trail, like a Rails to Trails project. I don't know if you probably don't. Maybe you have something like that in Germany, but basically the railroads here, a lot of them got converted to like biking trails and stuff because people don't use railroads quite as much anymore.
Yeah, we just got biking trails just to have biking trails.
Yeah, well, that's even better, I guess. But that's how it worked out here, so it's not too bad.
Awesome.
So, but yeah, I guess before where can we? I know we kind of mentioned it, but where can we find you guys? Physics Anonymous.
Yeah, so YouTube, just youtube.com/physicsanonymous or physicsanonymous.com. If you're feeling really lazy, physanon.com will also get you there. I think we're at Physics Anonymous on Instagram, and
Yep.
that's it.
Right. And Max, we'll find you on YouTube, Max Maker.
YouTube
correct?
Max Maker. Yep. And on Instagram, Max_Maker_YouTube.
Right. And if you search for Jeremy S. Cook, you should be able to find me, and maybe Jeremy Cook if you're feeling lucky. So, yeah. Well, thanks so much for coming on, and yeah, I guess we'll see what happens next.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for being here.
Yeah.